Look, I know this is dumb, but Google made another Pixel. Now, that's not the issue. The issue is they made a budget Pixel, and the thing about the budget Pixels is that most of them suck. And really, honestly, most of the Pixels are pretty disappointing to me. Um, Look, there's nothing wrong with the Pixel 5a, 5G. The problem is that the Pixel is uninspired, and I am tired of hearing about it. Because the thing is, if the Pixel didn't show up in the news cycle, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't matter. But it keeps like popping up because it's Google and they make Android, and so you'd expect the first party devices to be like the benchmark, and it sucks. Like, okay, here, let me show you what I mean. Basically, with Pixel 4a, this is where it sort of sets in that that Google doesn't really care all that much. So here's the let me reorganize this a little bit. Here are the three big budget Pixels. Okay, there's 3A, 4A 5G, and 5A 5G. Now, there was a slight difference between 4A and 4A 5G. I'm going to talk about the 4A 5G because they're almost identical, except that the 4A 5G has a 5G capable processor. See, the 3A was great because the 3A comes out after the Pixel 3, and the Pixel 3's camera at the time was better than any other smartphone camera by like a pretty decent amount. Like at the time, Google's processing of photos was significantly better than Samsung or Apple's, and people like the sensor and all that kind of stuff. Pixel 3 was pretty inoffensive. 5.6 inch display, no notch, but some pretty chunky bezels. This is a design that's a couple of years old, but nothing that anybody wouldn't have expected from Google at the time. It has a similar design to like the Pixel 2s or the Pixel 3s. It's a good phone. And then once they make Pixel 4 happen, Pixel 4 goes a little bit slabby. It's like kind of lame. I don't know. Pixel 4 is where it gets uninspired from this point in the Pixel lineup. And Pixel 5 didn't help either because Pixel 5 was just basically just Pixel 4 with a better screen. And that's what's going on with the A models as well. Pixel 4a 5G turns out to just be bigger screen, some extra junk. And again, with Pixel 5a, it's bigger screen, some extra junk. So like, yeah, now it's water resistant and it's got a big battery. This is solid. This 4600 milliamp hour battery is awesome for the 5a, which has I think it'll say it somewhere here, Snapdragon 765. Problem, that's the same processor that was in the 4a 5G. The same processor as what was in the Pixel 5. Like, it's not, like, do they even care? Like, the hardware is the same, and aside from a couple of conveniences and keeping the price just about in line, I don't know, the Pixel lineup is uninspired. And there's those Pixel 6 announcements that like, oh, Pixel 6 has like a new sensor lineup and whatever, and it has a Google's custom processor, and I will judge that when that happens. But for now, Pixel 5a 5G is lame. I don't know, it's just it's a whole lot of nothing. Like it's a copy paste. Like if you made any sort of opinion about 4a 5G or the 4a, you can just copy and paste it when you're talking about the 5a. And I mentioned Google's custom silicon. That's cool, but like it doesn't exist yet. And they've already announced Pixel 6. So why did they make Pixel 5a if not just they were already going to do it and they just sort of dumped it out there? Really, they didn't have to market it too much either. I feel like the 5a is like one of those shows up in your cell phone carrier's set of optional phones for a certain phone plan. Like nothing too inspired. It just sort of exists to fill that price bracket for Google. It's not actually meant to be, it's not made with any kind of purpose. Like, I think Samsung has a really good example of actually caring about their quote unquote budget device, because Samsung has, their main flagship lineup, as much as the Note series and the Fold series are like their big hitters. Those are really like Halo devices. Like, they're not really made for everybody. Mostly the devices made for everybody are the Galaxy S lineup. And the Galaxy S lineup has been slowly creeping up in price and getting more expensive to the point where S21 Ultra is like $1,500, which is nuts. Like, it's a great phone and it's huge and has like a bunch of cameras and whatever, but that's really expensive. And so Samsung, understanding this, that their phones are getting like bigger and badder and more expensive, is taking the same internals and just making it smaller and more accessible. Maybe they bump the screen down and whatever, and in the form of the FE models. So S20 and S21 FE are a thing, and they're like $700-800, so they're back in the price bracket for entry level premium smartphone. So now you're competing with base storage iPhones. Now you're competing with old flagship pricing. Like, that's where you want to be for mass appeal. And those devices are built well and with purpose, and they are a separate thing from, S21 FE is not S21 and S21 Ultra. They are very distinct products. And the S21 FE is cool. Like, it brings down enough from S21 to be cool. Whereas Pixel 5a has been mostly just spec bumping the Pixel 3a, and that's lame. Because also the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 5 have just been spec bumping the Pixel 3, and with a minor redesign on the Pixel 4. A redesign that, in my opinion, isn't all that inspired. Like, it's nice for the colors, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of, like, plastic on the phone, and if it can be helped, because while plastic is lighter and it, there's arguments to be made for why plastic is good in a smartphone, but I think it just lets there be, like, the first time you hear your phone creak, you want it to be made out of metal and glass. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, that's about it. This is just me complaining that the 5A is lame. What I'm hoping is that the 6A next year is not lame, because the 6 might not be lame. Pixel 6 is going to have custom hardware, and if that custom hardware is good, then Google has something, something really competitive on their hands. If the Tensor processor actually ends up competing with, the Kirins and the Snapdragons and the Exynoses of the world, then I will actually look Google's way on this, because then it'll trickle down, hopefully, into 6A. But until then, this is what we got, and it's just lame. There's nothing wrong. It's just lame, and it's Google, and I wish they would just make better stuff. That's it.